two girl groups debuted at the end of 2024. Before either one sang a note, the world had already decided what they were. But the world had it wrong. In September 2024, Meow arrived as the first girl group from the Black label. That label belongs to Ddi, the producer behind most of BLACKPINK's biggest songs. So before anyone had even heard a Meow song, the group already had a nickname people kept repeating: the next BLACKPINK. A couple months later, in November, IZNA debuted out of a Mnet survival show called IZNA 2. Survival shows had built girl groups before. Most of them shined for a while, then went quiet once the cameras shut off. IZNA walked into that history whether they wanted it or not. People made up their minds fast. Meow got written off as just another packaged Ddi group, a sound you'd heard 100 times. IZNA got read as pretty faces from a TV show, there to look good and not much else. Two groups, 2 months apart, both measured against something they never picked, and neither one got to walk out and say who they were first. Someone else had already said it for them. Here's the thing those labels missed. The two groups behind them looked nothing like the assumptions. Start with Meow. Nobody really saw them coming. A few trainee photos leaked online early in 2024, and for months that was most of what people had. Then the members rolled out one at a time. Soo-in, the oldest, a dancer out of Seoul's performing arts school. Gawon, Korean-American, who had trained at YG before this and done modeling as a kid. Anna, from Japan, already known there as a model. Narin, the last one they unveiled. And Ella Gross, who had been a child model for years before any of this started. They were built quietly and dropped fully formed. Even before debut, they signed with Capitol Records in the US, the kind of deal most groups spend years chasing. In September 2024, they released Meow. Short and sharp, built around a cat that knows exactly what it wants. A couple months later came Toxic and Body, with Gawon and Narin helping write Toxic. The package group idea started looking thin. IZNA came together the opposite way. Everything happened out in the open. They were built on IZNA 2, a show that started with 24 girls in the spring of 2024 and ran all the way to a live finale in July. Viewers voted. The top 5 earned their spots straight from the public. The producers chose the next 2, including Sabi, a surprise 7th member nobody saw coming. Choi Jung-gun topped the public vote and got the main vocalist spot. Bong Jimin took the center. So the whole country watched IZNA get made. The practice rooms, the bad days, the cover stages, the members who went home. By the time IZNA debuted in November 2024 with Na, people felt like they'd helped build the group themselves. Their first single was their own name, a group introducing itself by saying it out loud. That's the gap. One group just showed up complete. The other got built where everyone could watch. And the quick label slapped on each of them at the beginning fit neither group once you actually listened. What came next is the part nobody makes highlight reels of. For most of 2025, both groups just worked. The debut buzz had cooled off. The comparisons hadn't gone anywhere. So they kept putting out music and kept showing up. IZNA released Sign, then Beep, each one pushing toward a harder, more grown sound. Then something hit that they couldn't plan for. In February, Yoon Ji-yoon stepped back for health reasons. By August, it was permanent. IZNA went from 7 members to 6. Losing someone that early can crack a young group wide open. They had to relearn the songs, move the parts around, and carry on as a different group than the one they debuted as. But still, they kept moving. Meow spent the year stacking pieces. In the spring, they dropped Hands Up, and it pulled in their first music show win on M Countdown. Their first real EP followed right after My Eyes Open Wide, led by Drop Top. Over the summer, they debuted in Japan. In the fall came Burning Up, with Narin and Gawon writing again. None of it was one big explosion. It was a group slowly proving it could do this on repeat. And the more they put out, the more people came around. Each release leaned into a different style, so you never knew what the next one would sound like. Between the comeback stages, the covers, and the bits off the music shows, the people who showed up just curious slowly turned into people who stuck around. By the back half of 2025, you could feel both groups stop flinching. IZNA came back in September with an album they called Not Just Pretty. The title was the whole point. Everyone had written them off as pretty faces from a TV show. The album was their way of pushing straight back on that. The lead song, Mamma Mia, is about trusting your own gut when everyone around you has an opinion on you. It sold around 150,000 copies on its first day, the most IZNA had ever done. Then October 17 happened. On Music Bank, Mamma Mia went up against BLACKPINK's Jump for first place. IZNA won, and it wasn't close. Their first trophy on a major broadcast, taken off one of the biggest groups on the planet. And the trophy was only half of it. Music shows make you sing it live the second you win. No studio tricks to hide behind, and IZNA stood up and nailed it. That was the moment the pretty faces talk finally died. Meow's turn played out in real time. That cat they built the whole group around kept growing up across every release, and by June 2026, it had teeth. Their second EP, Bite Now, led with Ddi Ro Ri, a song that takes a piece of old Bach organ music you've heard in every horror movie and turns it into something that sounds like a warning. In one line, they flat out call themselves The Blueprint. This time, all 5 members helped direct the project. The group that got called a copy was now the thing other people would be copying. And here's the part that's almost too clean. Meow dropped Bite Now on the 1st of June 2026. IZNA followed exactly 1 week later with Set the Tempo, their third mini-album. 2 groups that started in someone else's shadow, both stepping fully into their own at almost the exact same time, without ever once planning it together. It's easy to feel sorry for groups that debut under a name that isn't theirs. The Next This, the product of that, the pretty one from the show. Those labels follow you around, and they are hard to shake. There's another way to look at a shadow, though. A shadow only exists because something big is standing right next to you. Meow got compared to BLACKPINK because the bar was set that high. IZNA got measured against every survival group before them because people actually expected them to last. Both groups took the thing that was supposed to box them in and used it as a place to start from. A year and a half later, both of them sound like exactly one thing. They sound like Meow. They sound like IZNA. Turns out a shadow can be a starting line. And that's exactly what both of them made it.